The Chicago Cubs are targeting three major stars this offseason, with names like Carlos Correa, Xander Bogaerts, and Trea Turner popping up. We also have the Houston Astros firing their general manager following their big World Series win this year. So we're going to break that down and much more in this episode of Dugout Digest. What's up, baseball fans? I'm the Gosse, host of Dugout Digest, and before we do get into the video, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button if you are new and are enjoying the baseball content on this channel. We cover everything MLB, and we are keeping you guys up to date on this hectic free agency. And yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are new. But let's get into the first topic of the video, which is Cubs targeting stars. So a report dropped the other day revolving around the Chicago Cubs targeting three major shortstops in the free agency market. So I'll pop up the screenshot now. John Morrissey, obviously an MLB insider, says sources, Cubs among most active teams in the shortstop market during early days of free agency. They've been in touch with the agents for Carlos Correa, Trea Turner, Xander Bogaerts, and Dansby Swanson. This is huge news for us for you Cubs fans out there. I'm obviously a Jays fan, but this is huge news for Cubs fans. Obviously, you guys won the World Series in 2016, and ever since then, they've kind of been falling into, a bit of a downward spiral. They obviously have some young players who are, up and coming and doing well. But if you're a Cubs fan, this has to be super exciting. You're targeting three of the best shortstops and really some of the best free agents in the entire MLB. With obviously Trea Turner from the Dodgers, just an unbelievable five-tool player. You have Carlos Correa coming off a very solid year with the Minnesota Twins. And of course, Xander Bogaerts, who's been with the Red Sox forever. Coming off also a solid year, and these players are gonna get paid. So it's interesting to see the Cubs, ready to spend. They, if they can add an elite shortstop to their team now, it'll help push them towards contention once again. Because it's obviously been tough for you Cubs fans out there with, falling off a little bit since the 2016 World Series. But you have some pieces there out in Chicago. And yeah, I'll pop it up one more time. They're also targeting Dansby Swanson, but we're going to focus on, the main three here, which is Carlos Correa, Trea Turner, and Xander Bogaerts. They've been in touch with the agents for him. And again, they're going to get monster contracts. So it's interesting that the Cubs, among other teams, are seemingly willing to pay big. Obviously, they lost Anthony Rizzo. They lost a few of their stars in recent years. So it's good to see them back on, contention, hopefully aiming towards contention. And if you're a Cubs fan, let me know out of those three, which you would prefer. Or I guess out of the four, if you want to include Dansby Swanson. For me, I would much prefer Trea Turner out of those four, but let me know in the comment section who you would prefer. Let's get into the second topic now, which is Astros GM fired. This one is a bit of a wild one. So this was the other day. From Bob Nightingale, Houston Astros GM James Click actually was fired. He was offered a one-year contract and raise from his $1 million salary on Monday, turned it down in pursuit of a longer contract, and was dismissed Friday after publicly airing his grievances at the GM meetings. Now, this is, if you're an Astros fan, you must be puzzled. If you're a baseball fan, you must be puzzled. Obviously, the Houston Astros won the World Series just last year, and now their GM has been fired. Originally it came out that he left, and that, he left on his own terms, which is also quite weird, but it was okay. He left on his own terms, but he was actually fired, and this is just absolutely puzzling. The reason the Astros fired him was because, they gave him a one-year extension offer, putting a raise on top of his $1 million, so giving him a bit of a bigger contract, but only for 1 year. And James Click was obviously like, no, I'm going to decline that and pursue a longer contract. Well-deserved. He was the GM of the Astros, and they just won the World Series. And then, of course, he wanted a longer contract. The Astros weren't going to give it to him. And so ultimately they parted ways, and the Astros fired him after he publicly aired his displeasure with only getting a one-year contract. If you're the Astros, why would you only offer the GM that just won you the World Series a one-year contract? It is puzzling to me. I saw a tweet by Ben Nicholson Smith, I believe it was, a MLB or Blue Jays reporter, and he said, after winning the World Series, if the Astros would have offered James Click a 2-year extension, that would have been daring him to leave, let alone a 1-year extension. That's just begging for him to leave. Obviously, he deserves a 3-year extension or more. He just won the Astros. Well, he just, led the Astros to a World Series win. He just won the World Series for the Astros, or under the Astros. So it's crazy to me that they only offered him a 1-year extension. And as you can see here, he publicly aired his grievances at the GM meetings, rightfully so. They only offered him a 1-year contract after winning a World Series, and that is crazy to me. Let me know in the comments, if you're an Astros fan, if you're a baseball fan, what you think of that. That is just, I don't know, it's wild. Maybe the Astros have another plan. Maybe they're going to hire a different general manager. But even then, it's just super strange that they only offered him a 1-year extension. And I'm very curious to see what the reasoning is for that, if they ever give a reason for that. But that was a crazy topic, and it had my brain super confused because I have no clue why they wouldn't just offer him a 3-year extension or even maybe a 2-year extension and see if he would have took that or whatever would have made him happy. Because at the end of the day, he's clearly a great general manager. He has been, and I don't know. Now he's free to roam and maybe find a job, or definitely find a job elsewhere. Let's get into the third topic of the video now, which is Angels targeting Japanese star pitcher. This is Kodai Senga. His name has been swirling around. If you're a Jays fan, his name has definitely popped up a few times. We'll pop up the report here now saying, Morrissey sources, the Angels are among the teams that have checked in on their free agent Kodai Senga, joining the Dodgers, Rangers, among others. So obviously, this is for Dodgers, Rangers, and specifically the Angels as well. I'm going to, target the Angels a little bit here because obviously they're keeping Shohei Ohtani this season reportedly. That could definitely change. They have Mike Trout, and obviously they need starting pitchers. Kodai Senga has been very good in Japan. He's never had above a 3 ERA since like 2019. He's been very good in Japan. And some people say that Japan is like equivalent to AAA. So he has some phenomenal numbers in Japan. And, pitchers like Masahiro Tanaka, obviously Shohei Ohtani, it's translated well. So maybe if he comes over here, maybe if he joins the Angels, if you're an Angels fan, he can help solidify that Angels rotation, which desperately needs solidification because that has been, the Angels need to turn it up if they want to keep Shohei Ohtani, I guess, and Mike Trout happy for, the near future. They got to turn into contenders. So, yeah, if you're an Angels fan, that's pretty good news. If you're a Rangers fan, you've got to be ecstatic. You've been linked to Jacob deGrom, and now you're being linked to Kodai Senga. So it's just overall a good time to be a Rangers fan. And Kodai Senga, I think, has the potential to be a stud in the MLB. He pitches really fast. He does everything you want him to do, and I think he has some major potential there. So that's super exciting. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of Kodai Senga. He is a starting pitcher in Japan. Before we do wrap up the video, I will quickly touch up on a report that just dropped around half an hour ago. I was recording this video from John Heyman that the Phillies also have interest in Xander Bogaerts. Obviously, we touched on the other teams that have interest in, or the Cubs having interest in Bogaerts among others, but the Phillies are targeting have interest in Xander Bogaerts. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on this season, as well as Rafael Montero has agreed to an extension with the Houston Astros for 3 years, $34.5 million. So those are just, the quick free agency update for today. And hope you guys did enjoy the video. Just giving you guys some free agency updates. Free agency has been hectic, so make sure you hit the like button if you do enjoy, and leave comments down below about what you think about these moves and what kind of content you want to see from me. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Cheers.